What's up guys, Moses here, and not a lot has happened since the first phase of ESP Guitars for 2022. Up until about maybe a week or two ago, we have these new guitars for this year. And what's really cool about these is that they happen to be snappers. And we have the 7 strings here, a couple 6s on the USA website for ESP. So if you guys aren't too familiar with these snappers, they were primarily Japanese market guitars, and the only way to really get one of them is through Japan, whether it's a seller or a music store over there or if somebody had it used. But yeah, these were primarily just for Japan. They're built one at a time, hand built at the ESP custom shop, and I gotta tell you, if you haven't seen my other reviews about these guitars, you know, I'll keep saying it, that they are probably ESP's best guitars. They're very resonant, they have a really nice classy look, but don't let the looks fool you, they are complete fire breathers, along with being able to play different type of styles of music. Very well too, not just be okay for cleans this or that, it does a lot of everything very well. And I know like the price tag on these is pretty expensive, but I still feel like it's worth noting because this is pretty cool seeing these Japanese market guitars now in the USA market, and hopefully we see more of these because there's a lot of cool stuff in Japan. Even there's some like E2 guitars in Japan that you don't see here in the US. So now we're able to see this. It's starting to open up a bit more to different stuff. But let's get started with this one. Now we have a brass black Snapper 7. So as you can see, it has this really nice type of copper, bronze, brass sparkle. It's not as intense as like the pink one that I have. It's very subtle. With the right lighting, you get a nice shade of all these colors as far as bronze and black and all those things, right? But along with that, you have this really nice classy look to it. The white pick guard, the white pickups, chrome hardware. It really gives that traditional Strat look. But it is just more than just a typical traditional Strat, as you can probably see. Now if we go to the other pictures, here we got the backside. Again, that's really nice. I really like this color. Yeah, it's just the way the light hits these guitars. This is very nice. It's like kind of a sparkle finish. Like if you look closely, it's not super intense, but it's very responsive to lighting. Alright, so now I'm just going to read a little bit of the description, and then from there I'm just going to skip on to the specifications. So built by hand, one at a time by master luthiers at the ESP custom shop in Japan. The ESP Original Series Snapper 7 takes a traditional guitar shape, like I mentioned earlier, and supercharges it into a hot-rodded, extended instrument. And I feel like that's the perfect description for these guitars. Traditional look, but super hot-rodded. Along with that, you can cover a whole lot of different styles with this type of guitar. Now, I'm just going to skip a little bit toward the specifications. So, these have a bolt-on construction neck, 25.5 inch scale length, alder body, maple neck, Honduras rosewood. Then we have a 305 millimeter. I think that translates to 12 inch radius. And then we have the finished brass black, then bone nut, thin U neck contour, 22 medium jumbo frets, chrome hardware, regular strap button. I believe this is still like a Schaller one if I'm not mistaken, because the ones that I have, the red one, the 2 Takayoshi ones, and the Mikio Fujioka, they all have Schaller locking tuners. So I think the Schaller the strap locks, have I been saying locking tuners? The strap buttons are Schallers. But yeah, hopefully if that's what the standard is, because typically you'd find those Schaller strap buttons that lock onto the ESP snappers. So yeah, hopefully they're still Schallers. Then you do have Goto locking tuners, pretty standard. And then the ESP Flicker 3 bridge, which is something that ESP makes themselves at the custom shop as well, or they're probably at a different facility. It's completely ESP made, still made in Japan. It's just they have their own little section of bridges and all this other stuff, even neck plates. So along with the pickups, we have 2 Seymour Duncan SSLs for the neck and middle, and for the bridge we have a SH14, which is just a custom 5, which is great for full-on metal, but still having a lot of clarity and tonal options to play other different styles of music pretty well. But the Seymour Duncan SSLs, they're great. They're medium output. You can get a whole different type of sound with them, as far as like twangy or type of a clean, like a really good clean sound. Then we have the electronics. We have a master volume, a tone, master tone. But what's interesting about this tone is that it's a push-pull, which what it really does is it allows for capacitance selection. So from my understanding, I think it cuts some of the hotness and output by a couple dB. I keep forgetting the exact number. So if you don't want a crazy hot signal, you can just push on that and then cut some of that by half or so, or by a couple dB. Then push it back, and then you'll be back at full-blown output. But I don't really use this feature too much. Then we have a 5-way toggle switch, and then we have this really small mini toggle right here. So not only do you have that 5-way to split the coils and whatnot, but this little the little switch you see here, that actually splits the coils even more. One of the positions allows for 3 single coils to be on at the same time, and then along with the 5-way pickup select, you get more tonal options. It's pretty insane on what you can get from this guitar, as far as like a twangy, spanky, even like an Yngwie Malmsteen lead type of tone. This guitar can do it easily, and it sounds great. This one comes with the Elixir strings. It comes with an ST case, ST1 guitar form fit case. It might be one of these. That's what my snappers usually came with, so you might expect something like this unless they do a hard case, but usually the ones I got came with that case. And that's pretty much it for these snapper guitars when it comes to features. And really, if I go back and click on the others, they're the same guitar, just in a different finish. They're all great though, same specs and whatnot. One thing I forgot to include, or even what ESP may have forgot to add to the description, is that these guitars have a titanium neck plate, which adds a bit more of that snappiness and attack to the tone. I feel like it does, and it's a nice little addition to a very high-end quality guitar. And going back a little bit to that Flicker 3 bridge, it adds a lot of mass and resonance to the guitar. A lot of people will tell you that those snappers are very resonant sounding. They just make your overall tone huge. And I tend not to, be a believer in that type of world of guitar tone and what affects it and what does, but I feel like this does. You could tell. Here are the 6-string versions. I would like to see this finish on that, or this exact same guitar with the maple fretboard and this blue flame maple top on that 7. That'd be insane. I believe the pickups are the same, but these have a swamp ash body. And here's the red one I have. Very nice. They're just great, classy looking guitars. I know the price point is pretty high, but I think they're worth the money. And if you could get a good deal used, yeah, definitely pull the trigger on one of these. You won't be disappointed. The blue one is really nice and pretty much that's what's been really included so far for 2022 since phase 1. And I feel it's great. My favorite thing about this lineup is that that these Japanese guitars are now coming to the USA market. I'm very tempted now to getting one of these or selling a guitar to help fund maybe the brass black or that Supreme blue. It's just very nice and classy. I've always been a sucker for this one, especially the blue one. But not too much different from each different color as far as specs. They're all going to have the same pickups and everything. All the features are going to be the same. But yeah, that's about it for this video. It's pretty nice seeing these snappers on the USA market. I know there are E2 versions and some LTDs, but seeing the bigger brother on the USA website is pretty nice. It'll make things easier to acquire one, not having to deal with customs. The red one took like about a month, a little more to come because customs, I don't know, there was some issue where it couldn't be found, and I feel like there won't be an issue like that just buying directly from ESP. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. What do you guys think of these guitars? I think they're great, and if you have the opportunity to play one, definitely do it because you're going to fall in love with it. Other than that, you guys have a good night, good morning, wherever you're from, and take it easy. Hello?